All right, Micah, what subject do you want to do first?
Math.
Math. Okay, so I'm going to use this proofing packet, Memory Master proofing packet, for us to do this. So this is what we're using. All right, Micah, how old are you?
8.
8. Okay, because he is under 10, he can skip count for math. Yay! It's a lot easier. It's a lot faster. The student needs to be 10 or less than 10 on the day he proofs his final proof. So whatever that is, that's the rule from CC. So we can proof earlier if you need to, but that's the rule from CC. Okay, so Micah, could you please skip count your 2s?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30.
Good job. All right, and then I would just ask another one. 15s, I would ask, whatever, and I would go on 60. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to make him do it all right now for the sake of this video, but you also can skip count squares and cubes, and that's for 10 and over as well. So they skip count squares and cubes for regardless of what age they are. But I would just kind of randomize the skip counting. Okay. Now, for students that are over 10, CC has put out these flashcards, the multiplication flashcards. They have the communicative law on them, so it makes you go through the flashcards much faster. That's what I mean. Much faster. Okay. So what you do is you would shuffle this deck, and then you are going to show them one card, okay?
2 times 11 is 22.
Good. 2 times 11 is 22. He is required to recite the entire math fact. The beauty of these cards is that the math fact is here on the front side, and the answer is at the top of the other side, okay? Because what you're going to have to do is you run through this full deck. So we do 2 times 11, okay?
And 2 times 6 is 12.
2 times 6 is 12, and I've got the answer on the back, okay? So we would go through all of these cards, and then we would flip them over, and he would do them all again.
0 times 12 is 0.
0 times 12 is 0.
And 5 times 9 is 45.
45. Good. Doesn't matter if he says 9 times 5 or 5 times 9. It doesn't matter because it's communicative law. But it is required for him to shuffle through all of these. Now, in the director proof, I will take a quarter of these cards. Okay? Just at random, and then that's the ones that they'll do. Now, in terms of check marking as you go along, for skip counting, I typically just take it and I make sure that they're doing it, and I will just draw a line as they're doing it. I won't check mark the entire thing. In terms of flashcards, as long as they're making it through all these flashcards, I'm not checking anything necessarily on these boxes because these are for skip counting. Now, on the other hand, doesn't matter if they're 8, 10, 4, everybody skips counts the squares and the cubes. So I'm just checking as they're running through their squares and cubes. In terms of, let's see, the laws at the end. So you'll notice that a few of them have the law for addition and the law for multiplication. The prompter cannot say, please tell me the associative law for multiplication. Okay, it's please tell me the associative law, and then the student would have to give the answer. Please tell me the associative law. Do you remember it?
Associative law for addition, say, open parentheses, A plus B, close parentheses, plus C equals A plus open parentheses, B plus C, close parentheses, the multiplication for...
How about the associative law?
Associative law for multiplication, open parentheses, B times C.
It has been a while since we've done this, so give us some grace here. But the associative, what you'll notice is that he said the associative law for addition states. So the purpose being that he is the one that's saying for addition states. And then he also says open parentheses, A plus B, close parentheses, plus C equals. So he's saying all of the specific terms. He's not just saying A plus B equals, whatever. So he has to say all of those terms. And then in Memory Master, if he were actually doing Memory Master, I wouldn't have been able to correct the associative law for multiplication states. He would have had that down. But he would have said, open parentheses, A times B, close parentheses, plus C equals A times open parentheses, B times C, close parentheses. And it's just making sure that the kids say all of those facts.
And it is nice if the parent does Memory Masters, because you can see how hard it is.
It is very hard. I will say that. Okay. Also, in terms of, there's a couple of them, like the area of the circle and the circumference of a circle that has pi. The kids need to define what pi is. So the area of a circle equals pi 3.14 times the radius squared, so they can define it that way. Or you can say the area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared, pi 3.14. So as long as they're somehow defining that they understand what pi equals, they're good to go. So, and I think that answers most of the questions for math. All right, so I forgot to mention that in these flashcards and even in skip counting, there's a lot of grace in it. So if, like I said before, like they get pretty nervous in it. So if they get it wrong, say they say 2 times 11 is 33. Okay, then you ask them again. Okay, can you do this one again?
2 times 11 is 22.
22. Good. So that time he got it right. If he still gets it wrong, or if he's really hesitating, is like, I just don't know. Okay, shuffle it back in. Make sure you don't flip it, but just shuffle it back in, and then they just keep going. So it's not until they get it, or you know what? I wouldn't even say shuffle it back in. I take that back. I would just put it off to the side, knowing that that's, start a pile of ones that they are struggling with, so that they can review it again. So, and then if they truly don't get it at that point, then I would count it as a mistake. But there really is a lot of grace.